We're starting today with some really sad and honestly quite unexpected news. Sam Rivers, the founding bassist for Limp Bizkit, has passed away. He was only 48.
Yeah, it's genuinely shocking news. 48 is just, well, way too young.
It really is. And this isn't just, a loss for people who loved NuMetal back in the day. It feels like a moment to maybe look a bit deeper behind that really massive, aggressive sound they had.
Exactly. And that's what we want to do today, sort of pull together what we know from the sources about his impact. Not just, the fame and the music itself, but also his skill, which was considerable.
Right.
The personal battles he went through, and this whole other side, the charitable work that maybe wasn't as well known.
Yeah, the band's immediate reaction kind of set the stage for that, didn't it? The cause of death hasn't been released, but they didn't just call him their bassist.
They said he was the soul in the sound.
The soul in the sound. That phrase, it really sticks with you. It suggests that underneath all that energy, the loud guitars, the chaos they were known for, there was this fundamental, steady, kind of rhythmic heart.
And that's the interesting thing to explore, right? Because when you think Limp Bizkit, maybe you think FredDurst first, or WesBorland's visuals.
It's just your front man, the crazy guitarist look.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the sources we have really point towards Rivers being maybe the unsung architect of the band's actual foundation, especially given their specific sound.
Okay, let's set that scene a bit. So Limp Bizkit, they formed back in '94. The lineup most people remember: FredDurst, JohnOtto on drums, DJLethal, WesBorland, and SamRivers on bass.
And their sound was instantly recognizable. The sources call it hip-hop rock, which is pretty accurate, I think.
That label's important, isn't it? Because it puts specific demands on the rhythm section, especially the bass.
Totally. NuMetal, when it worked well, wasn't just heavy. It had groove. You could almost dance to some of it.
Right.
And the bass couldn't just follow the guitar riff like in some rock music. It needed to provide that low-end pulse, that syncopation, to link the heavy rock feel with the hip-hop rhythm.
That makes sense. So for that hip-hop rock thing to really land, you couldn't just have simple root notes on the bass.
Exactly. You needed those complex pocket grooves. Rivers was laying that groundwork, making space for Otto's drumming, creating the frame for Durst's vocals to sit on top of. Without that kind of deep, rhythmic anchor, the whole hybrid thing could easily fall apart.
And boy, did it work for them commercially. They got huge.
Oh, immense. The sources credit them with really helping drag heavy music kicking and screaming into the mainstream spotlight.
You just have to look at albums like SignificantOther and then that absolute monster Chocolate Starfish and the hot dog flavored water.
Right. Those weren't just successful albums. They were like cultural phenomena. You couldn't avoid them.
And if you actually listen back now to tracks like, say, Rollin' Air Raid Vehicle, the bass line isn't just background noise, it's driving that track.
It is. It's what gives it that slightly danceable swagger, even with those huge guitars crashing in.
Which is a level of technical skill maybe the average listener back then didn't really associate with NuMetal musicians.
Well, that brings us nicely to the recognition he did get. It might surprise some people, given the band's image, but back in 2000, Sam Rivers actually won a Gibson Award for Best Bassist.
Wow, okay. A Gibson Award. That's pretty serious recognition, especially in a genre often dismissed as just being loud or aggressive.
It really is. It kind of elevates him beyond just the stage show, acknowledges the actual musicianship there.
Yeah.
And the band's tributes really echo that idea, that his talent was deeper than just the sound of the hits.
Yeah, their statement was really quite emotional. They wrote, and this is a powerful line, "From the first note we ever played together, Sam brought a light and a rhythm that could never be replaced. His talent was effortless, his presence unforgettable, his heart enormous."
His heart enormous. That phrase, it really stands out, doesn't it?
Right.
Especially against the, sometimes controversial public image of the band.
Yeah, it does. It makes you wonder, what did that actually mean? What did that look like in his life away from the stage?
And it seems to link directly to his charitable work. DJLethal really highlighted that aspect. He mentioned that Rivers will live on through your music and the lives you help save with your music, charity work, and friendships.
So it wasn't just about the cultural impact through the band. There was this other very personal philanthropic side, too.
Yeah, it suggests a much more rounded person than perhaps the public persona allowed for.
It's fascinating how the sources immediately bring together these two sides. The, award-winning musician laying down these complex grooves, and then this person with the enormous heart involved in charity.
And the shock expressed by people like DJLethal.
Yeah.
Saying he was just in shock. It underlines how sudden this all feels.
Right. Now, we do need to talk about something difficult, but it's really crucial context here, his health history, because it adds another layer to his story, a layer of resilience.
Absolutely. Listeners need to understand, this wasn't hidden. Rivers faced a very serious, life-threatening health battle, and he spoke about it.
Yeah, the sources are clear. He actually left the band for a few years, starting around 2015.
And the reason, which he shared himself, was liver disease.
He spoke about it with the author John Wiederhorn for the book Raising Hell, didn't he?
He did, and he was very direct about the cause, linking the liver disease to what he called excessive drinking.
That honesty is pretty remarkable, actually, especially for someone in a band that, let's face it, kind of embodied some of that rock and roll excess image.
To confront that so publicly and talk about the severe personal cost.
Yeah,
Yeah, that takes courage.
yeah.
But it wasn't just about the diagnosis. His story then becomes about this really intense fight back.
He really committed to recovery, didn't he?
Totally. He talked about quitting drinking completely, following every single instruction from his doctors, getting treatment specifically for alcohol dependency. This wasn't a quick fix. It sounds like a long, hard road.
And the outcome of that fight was, well, it was life-saving surgery. He had a liver transplant.
Yeah, the sources mention it was successful. A perfect match is the quote attributed to him. Just think about that for a second. Literally getting a second chance at life.
Earned through, incredible personal discipline and going through that whole recovery process.
So his story isn't just tragically about a rock star dying young. It's also about someone who stared down a major health crisis, brought on by addiction, and fought his way back.
Yeah.
He achieved sobriety, got the transplant. That narrative of resilience makes this news even harder to process somehow.
It really does. Because this wasn't someone who had faded away because of illness. He was back. He was active with the band again.
Exactly. They weren't just, resting on their laurels. The sources point out they played the Reading Festival just this past August. That's a huge UK festival.
And they were putting out new music just weeks ago. In September, there was that new single, Making Love to Morgan Wallen.
So you see this whole arc playing out. The health crisis, the long recovery, the transplant, and then this return. Back in the studio, back on major stages.
Especially after, what was it, a 4-year gap since their last album, Still Suck.
Right. So all this recent activity just highlights how sudden, how completely unexpected this loss feels.
So when we pull all these threads together, what are we left with? For you, the listener, it feels like a legacy defined by these really strong contrasts.
Definitely. On one side, you've got that defining sound of late 90s NuMetal. Aggressive, loud, but technically underpinned by Rivers' rhythm. He was the award-winning engine room.
And on the other side, you have this hidden life, almost. The really intense private battle with addiction, the liver disease, the incredible fight for recovery, and that transplant.
And the charitable work, the enormous heart his bandmates talked about. It's this stark difference between the public volume and the private resilience.
That feels like the real takeaway, doesn't it? Rivers' life shows that even someone fronting this massive, sometimes abrasive public image can also be defined by quiet dignity, by fighting personal demons, and by having this capacity for helping others. The soul in the sound was maybe really about the soul of the man.
It really encourages you to look beyond the easy genre labels, beyond the stage persona. His story is one of serious dedication. First, to his music, that Gibson Award proves that.
Right.
And then dedication to his own survival, his recovery, which brought him more years of life and creativity.
Which leaves us to that final thought for you to take away. How often do we really see or even look for the personal resilience, the quiet struggles, the charitable side, the soul behind these huge, sometimes controversial figures who shape our music scenes?
Sam Rivers' story is a powerful reminder that the fight, the recovery, the quiet good deeds, they often run much deeper and maybe matter far more in the long run than the biggest hit single.